Next guest lecture by Dr. Abhay Kumar is use of OAM and
Abhay Kumar.
Dr. Abhay Kumar. Yes. So Dr. Abhay Kumar, please.
So my presentation is there, so the video recording is there.
Okay.
Good morning and hello to everyone. Firstly, I would like to thank the organizers of this NSSA conference for giving me an opportunity here to present. I'd like to share my experience with the OARM and navigation in spine instrumentation. Myself and the orthopedic spine surgeons have been using this instrumentations, this technology, in fact, in our hospital for last now more than 2 years, and we find it very useful. So let me share our experience with you all. So this is what we are talking about. It's an intraoperative CT device which is called as a OARM, and we all know the navigation system as a neurosurgeon. So just to give a brief introduction, OARM is a cone-based CT scanner. The quality is slightly inferior than the non-portable ones, which are the 32 or 64 size scanners. It can provide you the 2D fluoroscopic images. It's a purely a 360-degree scanner, and it can provide you a 3D reconstruction images. It can be seamlessly transferred into the any navigation system. It can be used for both cranial and spinal problems. So basically, it has a telescopic gantry section. It can produce an image very fast, and it can be robotically controlled. The 3D image which we acquired can be automatically and immediately transferred to the navigation system, and we can use the imaging immediately to navigate. So one of the things what we need in here is a radiolucent table. We use either a Mackay table or this Jackson table. The first thing to know here is the radiation dose is much less than the non-portable CT scanner machines emit. So if you use in a low dose level, you can, the effective dose is much less. In brief about the navigation technology, all of us as a neurosurgeon, we know basically it's a GPS technology system, where the camera emits the infrared signal, which is reflected from the spheres, or what we call as glions, from the moving instruments. The camera then analyzes the stereo views of the instrument to triangulate its position. Computer will generate the signal, and the instrument position can be illustrated based upon the pre-op imaging system. So there are basically three components of the neuro navigation. One is the pre-operative imaging data, then the localizing tool, which we with the glions attached to it, which we call as a pointer, and a mathematical framework which is in the computer for the calculation of the relationship between the patient's anatomy and the pre-operative imaging. So the workflow is basically a pre-operative imaging is done, then the patient registration is done, and you can navigate. We all know that there are two types of navigation: optical navigation and axiom navigation. Axiom is mainly used in the cranial conditions. In spine, it is always a optical navigation. So the required elements are the navigation system, the monitor, the specific software. The reference frame is very important here, and the different tracker systems which can be attached to the instrumentation. Nowadays, all the instruments have come with the inbuilt trackers with them, and you need a recent imaging. It could be either a CT or an MRI scan, depending upon for what you're using this. The reference frame is very important. There are different reference frames for the MIS procedures. The most important thing is the reference frame must be attached to an immovable structure, either a spinous process or an iliac race when you're doing a spine, and it should be stable after registering until the navigation is complete. Again, there are different trackers available. Reference frame from the this is for the MIS surgery. The reference frame which are used in the over the iliac crest. And the workflow is basically you bring in the gantry and you do the imaging. But one thing you need to know before imaging this is the camera should detect the OARM tracker LEDs as well. There are about 7 LED trackers here which has to be detected. and plus the reference frame spears also should be detected by the camera. You have to image only after these spears have been detected, and then you'll be able to navigate well. This is a standard flow. We know that we will select the surgeon, procedure, setup, and we verify all the instruments, acquire the image, and navigate. So widespread applications in for a neurosurgeon. It can be used in cranial conditions and plus the spine condition. Today we'll just talk about the spinal indications for the O-arm and the navigation, which is mainly the pedicle screw insertion. Yeah. So this is what we are talking about. So you try to put a screw into the pedicle without violation of the medial or the inferior border. In fact, no borders to place it exactly accurately into the pedicle itself. I'll give you certain examples. Here is one of the lumbar pedicle screw placement videos which I'm showing you here. Here we have put the pack needle going in, and here we can see the tap going inside into the lumbar pedicle, and this is the screw placement into the pedicle as well. So everything can be navigated throughout. We can identify the length of the screw required. We can also find out the diameter of the screw required using the navigation system itself. Just show you for video of a T-leaf procedure. So basically, this is a workflow. Once you drape, you get the O-arm inside, and see to that all your spears are seen well, and then acquire the image and start navigating. This is a pack needle you're putting into the pedicle screw, into the pedicles, sorry. Then go back here. So that's a pack needle gone in, and you put a guide wire through it, remove the pack needle, through the guide wire, pass the tab, and you tap the pedicle, and then put the screws in. So that's a typical workflow for any pedicle screw fixation. Accurately, you can localize the pedicle, the diameter, and plus the length of the pedicle can be assessed and put in. So he's a patient who had a C1, C2 fusion. I put a spaces in between C1, C2. After that, I've done another imaging to see exactly the spaces are in proper position, and that use this imaging to put the screws into C1 and C2. And this is the imaging done after putting the screws in into the C1 and C2 to see whether the screws are in proper. And in fact, I put the screws in using navigation here. In fact, you can, the navigated drills are available. Using the navigated drill itself, you can drill the lateral mass of C1, and you can tap the lateral mass of C1 and then put the screws C1 as well. So again, these are the pictures showing the navigated drill in the C1, lateral mass of C1, and this is a tab with the C1 and the screws in the C1 as well. So again, the similar thing for the C2 as well. You can use the navigated drill itself and place the drill the lateral mass of C2, and then put the screws as well. A similar thing, we can do it in thoracic lesions as well. Here is a patient with a trauma, with a burst fracture, with an extruded fragment into the canal. So we did a decompression and removed the extruded fragment, and then the long segment fusion and the post pedicle screw fixation. This is the O-arm taken, and in fact, we use the O-arm and navigation to put the screws in this patient. So what are the benefits? It's first of all, it's less radiation to the patient and clinical staff, precise and accurate insertion of the screw, mainly useful in redo surgeries and complex deformity, very well used in cervicodorsal and upper thoracic spine where the C-arm fluoroscopic images are not so good. Ultimately, you use more and more, it definitely reduces your surgical time. So let me share with you my results. I use it for 66 patients till now. 4 of them had tumor or a metastasis, 12 of them had infection, 4 of them had trauma, and degenerative patients were 46. So the region-wise, if I had to put the less of cervical, more of a lumbar, totally I put in 396 screws using the O-arm and the navigation. So I analyzed the perforation or violation of the pedicle rate using this classification, Gertzwein classification, where if grade 0 is the screws are fully contained in the pedicle, grade 1 is a breach of less than 2 millimeter, grade 2 is a breach of 2 to 4 millimeter, grade 3 is more than 4 millimeter. So if you analyze this, I'll just show, go through the first row, where 66 patients with 396 screws inserted. The perforations were at the rate of 1.5%. Of them, grade 1 perforation was 4 of them, and grade 2 in 2 of them. So this is not a correct comparison. I had analyzed before this itself the screw perforation in patients whom I used C-arm, who were patients who used to come to follow up and whom I had done a CT scan. So I tried to find out how many patients had violations of the pedicle. So the rate was around nearly 10%. Though it is not an exact comparison, only I could do this for 25 patients. But yes, it was around 10% screw violation, and it had reduced to 1.5% in those series of O-arm and navigation. But there were no neurodeficits or no resurgery in O-arm group. There are 2 patients had minor neurodeficits in a C-arm group, and one I had to undergo a redo surgery for the placement of the screws. And in the discussion part, I would just want to say in 2D fluoroscopic images, it's been widely used, but there are drawbacks which has lacks high accuracy. It is difficult in cervicothoracic junction and CV junctions. Inadequate quality images when the patient is obese. There's significant deformity and osteoporosis, and it involves a high radiation exposure. Things get better when you do a 2D navigation, but you will not get an axial views. Accuracy lower than the 3D navigation. Again, poor images in the cervicothoracic junction and tenovertebral junction. Inadequate quality again in obese, deformity, and osteoporosis patient. Measuring the screw diameter, length, or cage size is very difficult if you need a 2D navigation. Cannot check the accuracy of the implant as well. All this can be negated with the 3D navigation, and it is very good in MIS patients, particularly when you're doing a deformity correction. You do a tumors, you can also ensure the decompression well, or when you're doing osteotomies, you can do immediate imaging and check it out. Revision spine surgeries, this O-arm is very helpful. In patients who have cervical OPL or a calcified disc or a calcified ligamentum, to confirm the decompression, we can do immediate O-arm picture and check it out. It's very useful in patients with osteoporosis and obese patients. So coming on to literature review, there is very clear, a lot of papers are there in the literature which clearly indicates the advantages of O-arm and navigation together. They have claimed that the standard insertion technique, the rate of misplaced pedicle screw ranges from 14 to 55%, with about 7% of the patients having some neurological injuries as well. There's one series which has compared the navigated screws with the non-navigated screws. The rate of perforation is around 10% in non-navigated screws, which has come down to 3.7% patients with the navigated screws. There's another paper which gives the accuracy rate of 68% in a conventional fluoroscopy, which increases to 84% in a 2D fluoroscopic with navigation. But same thing with the 3D fluoroscopic navigation, it increases to around 95.5%. But again, people are claiming now that if you are used O-arm and navigation routinely in a high volume centers and experienced surgeons, the O-arm can reach up, the accuracy of screw placement can reach up to 100% if you're using a O-arm with navigation. There's one paper which clearly compares the O-arm and the fluoroscopic series, and the the rate of perforation comes down from nearly 13% to 3% by using O-arm and navigation. So in conclusion, the particular pedicle screw placement with the O-arm multi-dimensional intraoperating imaging system is a safe and effective technique compared to a conventional fluoroscopic technique. There are multiple meta-analyses also which clearly suggest that the rate of pedicle breach is much less in a navigation system as well, and the accuracy also is much more when you use a O-arm with a navigation. Radiation, this is the greatest advantage here. Radiation exposure to the surgeons and the operating room staff reduces by about 1/4 or so as well, and this is the major advantage. In all series, it's clearly extended. The radiation exposure is much less when you use an O-arm compared to a fluoroscopy, particularly when you're doing a minimally invasive spine surgery here. There's one paper which clearly looked into the revision rates, operative time, and hospital stay. They feel that the revision surgery has been reduced from 3% to 0% with the using of this image guidance. The operative time also, as we use more and more, this operative time in putting these pedicle screws also is much less when you use O-arm and navigation. Hospital stays, as we're doing more and more minimal invasive surgery using this, the hospital stay also comes down. There are some technical pitfalls in an obese patient. You still wonder whether the quality is well enough. It has a surgical learning curve. You need a good surgical table as well. Many people prefer Jackson's table, but again, it is a costly table as well. Reference arc selection is very important, and again, placement of the reference arc to a non-movable part is very important. Draping of this area also has to be learned. It's a complex OR setup. Registration process also is very important. You need to have a good technician with you to look into all these things. Throughout the procedure, you need to maintain the accuracy of the navigation. Initially, yes, the increasing operative time will be there, or if you use more and more, the operative time will definitely come down. The important factor for success also depends upon the familiarity of the surgeon with the use of the navigation system. It's not a substitute to the surgeon's knowledge, skill, and competence. There's also a learning curve, but I don't think it's a very steep learning curve. It's a safe and it can be learned very easily. I want to conclude by saying that pedicle screw placement using a navigation O-arm is much safer than a conventional fluoroscopic technique. Most important, radiation exposure is much less with this technique. Surgeons' confidence in doing the redo surgeries and complex deformity surgeries will be more with this technology. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Abhay Kumar.
Rakesh,
Nice.
I want to ask one question.
New technology. Yes, Dr. Moda, please.
Abhay Kumar, can you do percutaneous C1, C2 screw with this O-arm?
I have not tried, sir, but there are some series who have tried to do that. I have not done a percutaneous for a C1, C2. We have done it for a thoracic and the lumbar levels, but not for C1 and C2.
Thank you.